the different questions that you've actually got to ask to see, can this actually happen? Or if not, what you're going to changes or decisions you're going to have to make in relation to that. But it is a two-sided street, and on the other side, then it's your working environment, what you're going to have to change to match up to your CMMS. When you have a CMMS already, then maybe you have made changes, but it's again, is it being adapted across your organization? Because the one thing most people forget, a CMMS is not a facilities tool, it is an organizational tool, because it affects so many different people and departments across an organization, and in doing so, they've got to be involved with it. So that's a lot what we're going to actually discuss about today. So I'm just going to swap over and share my screen. Oh, by the way, this meeting is being recorded, so we can put up the replays later on. Right, hopefully everybody can see that. So what I mean by does it match with your work environment is your existing procedures and policies. Some of them may have been in place for years, and do they actually match up to working with the CMMS? In other words, you might have had a policy that if you were making a remedial work request, that you had to either ring it in or maybe text it or so like that. That now will change when you've got a CMMS, because by rights it should be entered directly into it. A lot of the changes are relatively small, and again, I'm a great believer, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. But there will be changes that will have to be made as it's going on. And your CMS isn't going to your CMS isn't going to replicate exactly how your organization works, and vice versa. It's just the way it is. You will have to rethink some of your old ways that you're going to do things. But again, you don't have to throw out, like the baby, as I say, the baby in the bathwater. There's certain things that you just leave in place. They're working fine. Why change them? You know, in often cases, the CMS will be able to adapt itself to something that is working very, very well within your organization, rather than going the other way around. And the most important thing is we're really looking at it. Right? A CMMS is basically to disrupt, it is not to be disruptive. And bringing in these changes, again, you got to think team. You not got to think what you got individually, or this is facilities department, nothing else matters, or so like that. It's going to be a team effort across your organization to bring in these changes. And I've seen it a lot of times over the last 20 years or so, that facilities have brought in a really great CMMS, and they need to keep it to themselves. And everybody else is on the other side of the wall. They're still having to do things the old way on it, even down to contractors. They're still using their docket books and filling in written paper reports or sending them in maybe as PDFs and so like that, just because they've never been given access to the CMMS. So what you've got to do, you've got to set up a new range of strategies, procedures, and goals to actually get it in and get other people involved with it. And as I say, it's not going to replicate. You are going to have certain changes of thought processes and patterns to bring it in. It's an organizational acceptance on it. Yesterday we talked about the 3 key return on investment areas that you've actually got to look at with a CMMS. And these apply again on the organizational acceptance of it. So financially, let's look at the facilities department. It's at least a third of your organization's expenditure. It's a huge expenditure. The only things really greater than it are payroll, and if you're purchasing product in a manufacturing company, literally those two are the only ones that are greater expense. So financially wise, it should be of interest with the CEO to know where a sort of his company's expenditure is going. Your CFO, of course. Your accounts should be involved with the CMMS, because it shouldn't be a case that the facilities team are processing jobs and they just mark it off that the job has been completed, and then all the invoices and the costs and that go through to the accounts, and they're not matching, they're not talking, they're not communicating. So they should be involved with the CMS. The pricing and costs and all that of all the jobs, the contracts and all that should be there, and then they can work together to pick up any discrepancies. They can see where there's starting trends on different areas are coming out, where expenditure is above and beyond where it normally should be.